Welcome to the Narrative Reading Bible Podcast. My name is Jessica, author of the Narrative Reading Bible Collection. Today, we continue reading the Book of Deuteronomy with pages 306 to 316 of Book 1, Past the Promise. The reading is from the Berean Standard Bible translation.
When you enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and you take possession of it and settle in it, you are to take some of the first fruits of all your produce from the soil of the land that the Lord your God is giving you, and put them in a basket. Then go to the place the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name, to the priest who is serving at that time, and say to him, I declare today to the Lord your God that I have entered the land that the Lord swore to our fathers to give us. Then the priest shall take the basket from your hands and place it before the altar of the Lord your God, and you are to declare before the Lord your God, My father was a wandering Aramean, and he went down to Egypt, few in number, and lived there, and became a great nation, mighty and numerous. But the Egyptians mistreated us and afflicted us, putting us to hard labor. So we called out to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our voice and saw our affliction, toil, and oppression. Then the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, with great terror, signs, and wonders. And he brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And now, behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land that you, O Lord, have given me. Then you are to place the basket before the Lord your God, and bow down before him. So you shall rejoice, you, the Levite, and the foreigner dwelling among you, in all the good things the Lord your God has given to you and your household. When you have finished laying aside 1/10 of all your produce in the 3rd year, the year of the tithe, you are to give it to the Levite, the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow, that they may eat and be filled within your gates. Then you shall declare in the presence of the Lord your God, I have removed from my house the sacred portion, and have given it to the Levite, the foreigner, the fatherless, and the widow, according to all the commandments you have given me. I have not transgressed or forgotten your commandments. I have not eaten any of the sacred portion while in mourning, or removed any of it while unclean, or offered any of it for the dead. I have obeyed the Lord, my God. I have done everything you commanded me. Look down from your holy habitation, from heaven, and bless your people Israel and the land you have given us, as you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. The Lord your God commands you this day to follow these statutes and ordinances. You must be careful to follow them with all your heart and with all your soul. Today you have proclaimed that the Lord is your God, and that you will walk in his ways, keep his statutes and commandments and ordinances, and listen to his voice. And today the Lord has proclaimed that you are his people and treasured possession as he promised, that you are to keep all his commandments, that he will set you high in praise and name and honor above all the nations he has made, and that you will be a holy people to the Lord your God, as he has promised. Then Moses and the elders of Israel commanded the people, Keep all the commandments I am giving you today. And on the day you cross the Jordan into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, set up large stones and coat them with plaster. Write on them all the words of this law when you have crossed over to enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, just as the Lord, the God of your fathers, has promised you. And when you have crossed the Jordan, you are to set up these stones on Mount Ebal, as I am commanding you today, and you are to coat them with plaster. Moreover, you are to build there an altar to the Lord your God, an altar of stones. You must not use any iron tool on them. You shall build the altar of the Lord your God with uncut stones, and offer upon it burnt offerings to the Lord your God. There you are to sacrifice your peace offerings, eating them and rejoicing in the presence of the Lord your God. And you shall write distinctly upon these stones all the words of this law. Then Moses and the Levitical priests spoke to all Israel. Be silent, O Israel, and listen. This day you have become the people of the Lord your God. You shall therefore obey the voice of the Lord your God, and follow his commandments and statutes I am giving you today. On that day Moses commanded the people, when you have crossed the Jordan, these tribes shall stand on Mount Gerizim to bless the people: Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Joseph, and Benjamin. And these tribes shall stand on Mount Ebal to deliver the curse: Reuben, Gad, Asher, Zebulun, Dan, and Naphtali. Then the Levites shall proclaim in a loud voice to every Israelite, Cursed is the man who makes a carved idol or molten image, an abomination to the Lord, the work of the hands of a craftsman, and sets it up in secret. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who dishonors his father or mother. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who moves his neighbor's boundary stone. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who lets a blind man wander in the road. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who withholds justice from the foreigner, the fatherless, or the widow. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who sleeps with his father's wife, for he has violated his father's marriage bed. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who lies with any animal. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who sleeps with his sister, the daughter of his father, or the daughter of his mother. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who sleeps with his mother-in-law. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who strikes down his neighbor in secret. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who accepts a bribe to kill an innocent person. And let all the people say, Amen. Cursed is he who does not put the words of this law into practice. And let all the people say, Amen. Now, if you faithfully obey the voice of the Lord your God, and are careful to follow all his commandments I am giving you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. And all these blessings will come upon you and overtake you if you will obey the voice of the Lord your God. You will be blessed in the city and blessed in the country. The fruit of your womb will be blessed, as well as the produce of your land, and the offspring of your livestock, the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flocks. Your basket and kneading bowl will be blessed. You will be blessed when you come in, and blessed when you go out. The Lord will cause the enemies who rise up against you to be defeated before you. They will march out against you in one direction, but flee from you in 7. The Lord will decree a blessing on your barns and on everything to which you put your hand. The Lord your God will bless you in the land he is giving you. The Lord will establish you as his holy people, just as he has sworn to you, if you keep the commandments of the Lord your God and walk in his ways. Then all the peoples of the earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they will stand in awe of you. The Lord will make you prosper abundantly in the fruit of your womb, the offspring of your livestock, and the produce of your land, in the land that the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open the heavens, his abundant storehouse, to send rain on your land in season, and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but borrow from none. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You will only move upward and never downward, if you hear and carefully follow the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am giving you today. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left from any of the words I command you today, and do not go after other gods to serve them. If, however, you do not obey the Lord your God by carefully following all his commandments and statutes I am giving you today, All these curses will come upon you and overtake you. You will be cursed in the city, and cursed in the country. Your basket and kneading bowl will be cursed. The fruit of your womb will be cursed, as well as the produce of your land, the calves of your herds, and the lambs of your flocks. You will be cursed when you come in, and cursed when you go out. The Lord will send curses upon you, confusion and reproof in all to which you put your hand, until you are destroyed and quickly perish, because of the wickedness you have committed in forsaking him. The Lord will make the plague cling to you, until he has exterminated you from the land that you are entering to possess. The Lord will strike you with wasting disease, with fever and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, and with blight and mildew. These will pursue you until you perish. The sky over your head will be bronze, and the earth beneath you iron. The Lord will turn the rain of your land into dust and powder. It will descend on you from the sky until you are destroyed. The Lord will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will march out against them in one direction, but flee from them in seven. You will be an object of horror to all the kingdoms of the earth. Your corpses will be food for all the birds of the air and beasts of the earth, with no one to scare them away. The Lord will afflict you with the boils of Egypt, with tumors and scabs and itch from which you cannot be cured. The Lord will afflict you with madness, blindness, and confusion of mind. And at noon you will grope about like a blind man in the darkness. You will not prosper in your ways. Day after day you will be oppressed and plundered with no one to save you. You will be pledged in marriage to a woman, but another man will violate her. You will build a house, but will not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but will not enjoy its fruit. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes, but you will not eat any of it. Your donkey will be taken away and not returned to you. Your flock will be given to your enemies, and no one will save you. Your sons and daughters will be given to another nation, while your eyes grow weary looking for them day after day, with no power in your hand. A people you do not know will eat the produce of your land and of all your toil. All your days you will be oppressed and crushed. You will be driven mad by the sights you see. The Lord will afflict you with painful, incurable boils on your knees and thighs, from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. The Lord will bring you and the king you appoint to a nation neither you nor your fathers have known, and there you will worship other gods, gods of wood and stone. You will become an object of horror, scorn, and ridicule among all the nations to which the Lord will drive you. You will sow much seed in the field, but harvest little, because the locusts will consume it. You will plant and cultivate vineyards, but will neither drink the wine nor gather the grapes, because worms will eat them. You will have olive trees throughout your territory, but will never anoint yourself with oil, because the olives will drop off. You will father sons and daughters, but they will not remain yours, because they will go into captivity. Swarms of locusts will consume all your trees and the produce of your land. The foreigner living among you will rise higher and higher above you, while you sink down lower and lower. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will be the head, and you will be the tail. All these curses will come upon you. They will pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, since you did not obey the Lord your God and keep the commandments and statutes he gave you. These curses will be a sign and a wonder upon you and your descendants forever. Because you did not serve the Lord your God with joy and gladness of heart in all your abundance, you will serve your enemies the Lord will send against you in famine, thirst, nakedness, and destitution. He will place an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a nation from afar, from the ends of the earth, to swoop down upon you like an eagle, a nation whose language you will not understand, a ruthless nation with no respect for the old and no pity for the young. They will eat the offspring of your livestock and the produce of your land until you are destroyed. They will leave you no grain or new wine or oil, no calves of your herds or lambs of your flocks, until they have caused you to perish. They will besiege all the cities throughout your land, until the high and fortified walls in which you trust have fallen. They will besiege all your cities throughout the land that the Lord your God has given you. Then you will eat the fruit of your womb, the flesh of the sons and daughters whom the Lord your God has given you, in the siege and distress that your enemy will inflict on you. The most gentle and refined man among you will begrudge his brother the wife he embraces, and the rest of his children who have survived. Refusing to share with any of them the flesh of his children he will eat, because he has nothing left in the siege and distress that your enemy will inflict on you within all your gates. The most gentle and refined woman among you, so gentle and refined she would not venture to set the sole of her foot on the ground, will begrudge the husband she embraces, and her son and daughter the afterbirth that comes from between her legs, and the children she bears, because she will secretly eat them, for lack of anything else, in the siege and distress that your enemy will inflict on you within your gates. If you are not careful to observe all the words of this law which are written in this book, that you may fear this glorious and awesome name, the Lord your God, He will bring upon you and your descendants extraordinary disasters, severe and lasting plagues, and terrible and chronic sicknesses. He will afflict you again with all the diseases you dreaded in Egypt, and they will cling to you. The Lord will also bring upon you every sickness and plague not recorded in this book of the law, until you are destroyed. You, who were as numerous as the stars in the sky, will be left few in number, because you would not obey the voice of the Lord your God. Just as it pleased the Lord to make you prosper and multiply, so also it will please Him to annihilate you and destroy you, and you will be uprooted from the land you are entering to possess. Then the Lord will scatter you among all the nations, from one end of the earth to the other, and there you will worship other gods, gods of wood and stone, which neither you nor your fathers have known. Among those nations you will find no repose, not even a resting place for the sole of your foot. There the Lord will give you a trembling heart, failing eyes, and a despairing soul. So your life will hang in doubt before you, and you will be afraid night and day, never certain of survival. In the morning you will say, "If only it were evening," and in the evening you will say, "If only it were morning," because of the dread in your hearts of the terrifying sights you will see. The Lord will return you to Egypt in ships by a route that I said you should never see again. There you will sell yourselves to your enemies as male and female slaves, but no one will buy you. These are the words of the covenant that the Lord commanded Moses to make with the Israelites in the land of Moab, in addition to the covenant he had made with them at Horeb. Moses summoned all Israel and proclaimed to them, "You have seen with your own eyes everything the Lord did in Egypt to Pharaoh, to all his officials, and to all his land. You saw with your own eyes the great trials and those miraculous signs and wonders. Yet to this day, the Lord has not given you a mind to understand, eyes to see, or ears to hear. For 40 years I led you in the wilderness, yet your clothes and sandals did not wear out. You ate no bread and drank no wine or strong drink, so that you might know that I am the Lord your God. When you reached this place, Sihon king of Heshbon and Og king of Bashan came out against us in battle, but we defeated them. We took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. So keep and follow the words of this covenant, that you may prosper in all you do. All of you are standing today before the Lord your God, you leaders of tribes, elders, officials, and all the men of Israel, your children and wives, and the foreigners in your camps who cut your wood and draw your water, so that you may enter into the covenant of the Lord your God, which he is making with you today, and into his oath, and so that he may establish you today as his people, and he may be your God as he promised you, and as he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am making this covenant and this oath, not only with you, but also with those who are standing here with us today, in the presence of the Lord our God, as well as with those who are not here today. For you yourselves know how we lived in the land of Egypt and how we passed through the nations on the way here. You saw the abominations and idols among them made of wood and stone, of silver and gold. Make sure there is no man or woman, clan or tribe among you today, whose heart turns away from the Lord our God, to go and worship the gods of those nations. Make sure there is no root among you that bears such poisonous and bitter fruit. Because when such a person hears the words of this oath, he invokes a blessing on himself, saying, I will have peace, even though I walk in the stubbornness of my own heart. This will bring disaster on the watered land as well as the dry. The Lord will never be willing to forgive him. Instead, his anger and jealousy will burn against that man, and every curse written in this book will fall upon him. The Lord will blot out his name from under heaven and single him out from all the tribes of Israel for disaster, according to all the curses of the covenant written in this book of the law. Then the generation to come, your sons who follow you, and the foreigner who comes from a distant land, will see the plagues of the land and the sicknesses the Lord has inflicted on it. All its soil will be a burning waste of sulfur and salt, unsown and unproductive, with no plant growing on it, just like the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his fierce anger. So all the nations will ask, why has the Lord done such a thing to this land? Why this great outburst of anger? And the people will answer, it is because they abandoned the covenant of the Lord, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. They went and served other gods, and they worshipped gods they had not known, gods that the Lord had not given to them. Therefore, the anger of the Lord burned against this land, and he brought upon it every curse written in this book. The Lord uprooted them from their land in his anger, rage, and great wrath, and he cast them into another land, where they are today. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our children forever, so that we may follow all the words of this law. When all these things come upon you, the blessings and curses I have set before you, and you call them to mind in all the nations to which the Lord your God has banished you, and when you and your children return to the Lord your God and obey his voice with all your heart and all your soul, according to everything I am giving you today, then he will restore you from captivity and have compassion on you, and gather you from all the nations to which the Lord your God has scattered you. Even if you have been banished to the farthest horizon, he will gather you and return you from there. And the Lord your God will bring you into the land your fathers possessed, and you will take possession of it. He will cause you to prosper and multiply more than your fathers. The Lord your God will circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your descendants, and you will love him with all your heart and with all your soul, so that you may live. Then the Lord your God will put all these curses upon your enemies who hate you and persecute you, and you will again obey the voice of the Lord and follow all his commandments I am giving you today. So the Lord your God will make you abound in all the work of your hands, and in the fruit of your womb, the offspring of your livestock, and the produce of your land. Indeed, the Lord will again delight in your goodness, as he delighted in that of your fathers, if you obey the Lord your God by keeping his commandments and statutes that are written in this book of the law, and if you turn to him with all your heart and with all your soul. For this commandment I give you today is not too difficult for you or beyond your reach. It is not in heaven that you should need to ask, who will ascend into heaven to get it for us and proclaim it, that we may obey it? And it is not beyond the sea that you should need to ask, who will cross the sea to get it for us and proclaim it, that we may obey it. But the word is very near you. It is in your mouth and in your heart, so that you may obey it. See, I have set before you today life and goodness, as well as death and disaster. For I am commanding you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, statutes, and ordinances, so that you may live and increase, and the Lord your God may bless you in the land that you are entering to possess. But if your heart turns away, and you do not listen, but are drawn away to bow down to other gods and worship them, I declare to you today that you will surely perish. You shall not prolong your days in the land that you're crossing the Jordan to possess. I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you today, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, so that you and your descendants may live, and that you may love the Lord your God. Obey him and hold fast to him, for he is your life, and he will prolong your life in the land that the Lord swore to give to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
I hope you enjoyed today's reading. Tomorrow will be the last day that we read the Book of Deuteronomy with pages 316 to 327. And that also means we will be done with Book 1, Paths to Promise, which is the first book in the 6-volume series of the Narrative Reading Bible collection. This is super exciting, but we still have a little bit more reading to do. So tune in tomorrow as we read 316 to 327 of Book 1, and we will finish Deuteronomy. Take care and God bless.